Oh, I do.
Good answer.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What, yeah, she taught at Dublin and then Boston.
Good to see you, James. Like, yes. Oh, yeah. You're fine.
Doesn't seem to place out this really.
Oh, no. You're fine. You're fine. Kendall, how are you? Good to see you. So,
I'll let you talk possession stuff. Ken, I can't wait for your presentation.
yeah, you're all set. We got you loaded up and everything. Good. That's awesome. Well, again, we're so happy to have both of you here and yeah, we'll take it. Okay. Right.
I work at yes. Hopefully. Right.
Oh, 2 minutes late.
Oh, the slides are in a better place. Last time they were like down here. Maybe one. Also now. I'll just do the arrows. I'll just do the arrows. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was down on this little table down here. So I'm like, and then I'm like looking out. Yeah, it was very awkward.
Yes. Well, let's make that
And I did, I made it. This is one of our old files.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Conversations. And on behalf of.
You must really have a very nice. Go out, have kids.
The better date night.
Well, you know, hey, baby steps.
Hey Peter, how long ago, do you remember Jenny Roush and Jeremiah?
Yeah, that's not here. Yeah. I think so. You know, that. So we have 6 months ago, so. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's probably a good point. You can touch on it. That's right. I'm sitting there scratching my head.
What about Valerie?
No.
Yes,
yep. Right. Yeah. I'll remember though in the middle of the presentation. Oh, hey, the party with us.
Yelling at me. I can pull up any of
Ring the bell, get started.
Last time in the slide.
On center.
Act like you're in charge up here.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to another Rotary meeting. We're going to start out with our invocation. Julie Rinaldi is going to give the invocation.
Good morning, everybody. During this time of strife and division, I thought I would read this quote. It's not a prayer. I'm going to read it twice, and then you can say amen if you want afterwards, okay? So this is actually from The Hobbit, and this is Gandalf, a quote from Gandalf. Some believe it is only great power that can hold evil in check, but that is not what I have found. I have found that it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay, small acts of kindness and love. Some believe it is only great power that can hold evil in check, but that is not what I have found. I have found that it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay, small acts of kindness and love. Let's be kind.
Thank you. Calvin, you're going to lead us in the pledge.
Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any announcements? Michael.
Hello, everybody. Reminder, next week's meeting isn't here. It's in Dublin. We will be getting a quick tour of their facilities, and we'll be taking part in a short service project. So other thing to keep in mind, if you have any clothes you've been collecting for donation, that would be a great time to, or a great place to bring them next Friday. Directions to their location is in email, and you'll get another email in a few days for meeting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Any other announcements? Julie?
But it's right after.
Any other announcements? Dan?
Might as well. Everybody, you see the Night at the Races event on the tables. If you haven't signed up yet and you want to come, please sign up. You can scan the QR code. And I'll also be emailing a link to the Eventbrite link that you can sign up there. Also, feel free to come see me after the meeting, and I can text you the link to the event because I found that it's easier just to text friends and family to see if they want to come. So any way that I can make this easy for you to network externally, please let me know. I'd be happy to do so. Thank you. We're all doing a good start.
Before the email we send to us to other people or only members?
No, you can forward it. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up. For Dublin Rotary members, there's a promo code on Eventbrite that it's Dublin AM, and that allows you to be billed by the club as opposed to paying through Eventbrite and getting the Eventbrite fee. So promo code Dublin AM. That is not included in the email, and that's why you can forward it out to external your external network.
It's also a $10 discount.
It's also a $10 discount. Thank you, G.
Even better.
Even better.
Any other announcements? All right, Sergeant at Arms, Dave Williamson.
That's not good enough. Good morning, Rotary.
There you go.
I don't need
Gave you a woo. You don't need that?
I
Oh.
don't need that. Okay. We're to get to our guest speaker here, quite
We're gonna go real quick on Sergeant at Arms. Good morning, everybody. Exempt from fines today are two people. I'd like to congratulate Ingrid, where's Ingrid? And Dan. Both of them invited guests to the meeting today, so both are free from things. The rest of you, Rotary protocol is in effect. Four requirements, actually. Number one, got your badge. Number two, got your pen. Number three, do you have a business card? Hold your business card up if you got it. I want to see it. Trust. All right, now, in order to qualify to be fine exempt, you must have given one of these out, at least one this week. If you did, you still owe $1.
No.
All right? All right, Karen, here we go. Okay, small pot, large pot. There's a lot of talking going on back there. Sergeant Arms is in charge, so he's.
Yeah.
All right. Small pot, first ticket, 3493, last four. 3493. Over here. All right, Mike. You have your choice. Large pot or small pot? Small pot 20. Large pot is 294. Large pot. Large pot, you said. We'll go to the large pot, right?
That's right.
Okay, for the small pot, last four, 3483.
That's me.
That's you too? All right. Back to you, Mr. President.
All right, well, we are delighted again to welcome back Megan O'Callahan, our city manager. As Yogi Berra once said, it's like deja vu all over again. Megan's back this time to give us some highlights on the city of Dublin. She's brought with her her assistant, Kendall Blake, who we're going to be hearing from today. And since okay, so Dave, yeah. That's a fine. That's a president's fine right there. That's $1. Strangely, we will have never heard from Kendall again after this. So sorry, Kendall. All right. So since I gave an introduction of Megan last time, just a few weeks ago, I thought I would have Megan share with us some 3 fun facts about her. First, Megan's father served as superintendent of the school district where she grew up, which instilled in her a deep appreciation for public service and community engagement. A special memory from that time is that her father personally handed her her high school diploma. Another fun fact, as for her daily routine, she starts each morning with a Starbucks chai tea latte, and each mid-afternoon, you have to have a Diet Coke. So I hear you there. And much of Megan's free time is spent shuttling her 9 and 12-year-old kids between activities. And finally, she once played in 2 weekly golf leagues, but these days she's lucky if she makes it out to play twice a year. So I introduce to you again Megan O'Callahan and Kendall Blake. Move through the slides.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all again. The timing just happened to work out this way. Last time I was here with Scott Dring and we did a deep dive comprehensive update on all things Sports Ohio. And so this time I'm going to give some updates on council goals and some capital improvement projects and some other initiatives. So a broader citywide update. And until a little bit ago, I thought it was a great idea to bring Kendall Blake here. I will never ever forget that introduction. That was probably the worst introduction ever. So, for Kendall. Anyways, no. Kendall has been leading the Sports Ohio transition of management and operations. She's done an amazing job. So I'm gonna have her just kick it off with a brief update on that. And then she's also going to provide some updates later on about some of our events. Do I have to aim somewhere specific? Or maybe I'll just click. It's fine. There we go. So we are fortunate here in Dublin that we have a very engaged, very visionary, bold city council. And each year they take a retreat. They stay in Dublin and retreat. But they spend an entire day and a half reflecting on the previous year and looking at how we're doing with achieving council goals. And those are always visionary, bold goals. So we review the status of those goals and then they have a conversation and they establish the goals for the upcoming year. And this is very, very important, especially from a staff's perspective, because it ensures that we're all aligned, because this also ensures resources. So we make sure that our budgets are aligned with all of these goals to make sure that we're able to make good progress in the upcoming years. So not only do we make sure we have alignment with budgets, there's a lot of staff that then get aligned behind these goals. So it's really staff, resources, the entire community, because we have lots of community engagement opportunities around these goals. But not many cities do that. So that is something that we're very fortunate that council takes the initiative to do.
It was worth the shot.
It was a great idea. So these are the 5 goals. The first one, as I mentioned, is create a premier athletic complex. Kendall's just going to give a brief update for those of you that weren't here a couple weeks ago.
Thank you for the warm welcome this morning. Like Megan said, one of the goals is to create a premier athletic complex. So after a competitive process, the city did contract with sports facilities companies, which is a industry nationally known organization. So they took over in July. And since then they have been onboarding new employees, getting contracts in place, really bringing up the level, the standard, I should say, of the operations there. So getting everything aligned, looking at equipment needs and everything related to that. So we've been having multiple meetings every single week to make sure that we are aligned and getting the facilities back open, because some of them haven't been open since COVID. So really want to make sure that they are operating and then becoming financially sound. And then this next slide is all about the master planning effort that the city has going on. So when we purchased Sports Ohio, we obviously are also aware that Dari Fields is right across the street from it. And so with the acreage between Sports Ohio, Dari Fields, and then some other properties right around there, it's 286 acres, which is extremely large. It's actually the 3rd largest. And so we have a master planning process to say, how can we morph these 2 properties into one large complex that works well from an operational standpoint, but also a financial tournaments, bringing heads and beds, all of those things. So right now in the process, we've already conducted stakeholder interviews, getting feedback from staff on operations. We're really leaning on sports facilities companies, as they're industry known. They have over 50 complexes that are just with municipalities. So how does that work to be efficient and a good use of the land? So we're in that process this far. So later this year, we're going to hopefully finalize on a framework of what that land will look like in the future.
Okay, and then that goal dovetails on the next goal, which is to accelerate economic development in the West Innovation District. So this is something that I was going to touch on the last time. I didn't have time to get to, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. But our West Innovation District is out in the western area of Dublin, obviously. So the aerial that is in the bolder colors outlined in green is what we refer to as the West Innovation District. As part of the community plan update, it has a special area plan, which means we provided extra detail defining what that district's all about, the goals of that district, what makes it unique and special from other districts. And then the shaded area is actually outside of Dublin's borders, but it's best practice when you're planning to plan outside your borders, because inevitably there are going to be property owners that at some point would like to annex into the city. Inevitably, Dublin, we have had a long tradition of acquiring land. So we could acquire land in that area. And also you can't have roads that end at your municipal boundaries. So our thoroughfare plan certainly extends far beyond our borders. And we also coordinate with our partners in Plain City, Madison County, Marysville, because Marysville has utilities infrastructure that essentially comes all the way to Dublin, all the way down industrial, down Highland Croy. Because the city of Marysville Utilities serves all of Union County, including the townships in Union County. So we're always having meetings with all of those other jurisdictional partners, and we're comparing and coordinating our community plans and our strategic plans to make sure that roads connect at some point in those areas where there aren't municipalities right now, to make sure that utilities are all planned and have capacity to serve land that's outside of our jurisdictional boundaries. So that's why we show that. Sometimes it makes folks a little bit nervous because it's like, why are you planning out there? Does that mean you're going to annex that entire area? Does that mean you're going to buy all that land? I don't know. And that's the point, is we don't know what the future holds. So it's important to be proactive and plan along those lines. So we have engaged Planning Next, Jamie Green. He's a very well-known planner in the state and the country. To take a look at how we take those special area plans to the next level, because the West Innovation District has a lot of area that does not have utility service currently. There are quite a few roads that need to be built out in the West Innovation District. So there's a lot of additional detailed planning and engineering that needs to occur. Also, a lot of property owners in that area that need to be coordinated with. So this is a zoomed in look at our West Innovation District special area plan. The sports complex is right in the middle, and it's a large land mass in the middle. Around that sports complex, you can see that there's some purple shaded areas, and that's all zoning. So we're showing lots of economic development opportunities out in this area. You can see that there's, if passenger rail were to come back to Central Ohio, we could potentially have a rail site out along the railroad tracks at 161 on land that Dublin actually currently owns on both sides of the railroad tracks. You can see a new greenway that follows the Indian Run, and that's an area that, you know, it exists, but we really aren't taking advantage of that amenity. So we would like to highlight that. Potentially build a path along that area so that it connects from one end of the city to the other. And we're also just providing lots of additional diversified flex innovative uses out in this area. We also need to transition from, we have Ohio University campus, which has its own master plan that the Ohio University trustees adopted in 2016. They're going to be updating that, but we have that plan we need to coordinate with. We also have the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, so we have a nice healthcare cluster. But there's University Boulevard, which needs to connect. We have 2 sections of University Boulevard that have been built. The acquisition of Sports Ohio purchased some land that's important to provide the connection with University Boulevard. And that's the road that's shown on the map that is labeled number 3. So this is the approach that we're taking. It's an interesting slide, but on the left, you can see all of the different plans that have either been completed that are related to the West Innovation District or are in progress. So we have everything from the community plan. We had an economic development study take a look at how we might leverage different sectors. You know, COVID really had us looking at economic development different because we have all of our headquarters during COVID. The parking lots were empty and nobody was working in those headquarters. So we were just really analyzing and determining what the future of our economic development strategies is going to be, because it's important that we diversify. That became very apparent during COVID. We also completed a housing study, passenger rail study, a signature trail study, University Boulevard alignment study to determine what that would look like, special area plan, the sports complex, OU framework plan, stormwater quality. So there's all of those studies that need to be integrated to help us determine what funding we're going to need, what we build first, and how we implement all of that to make it come to reality. And then the goals of all of this obviously are to enhance connectivity and infrastructure. Currently, you know, there aren't many connectivity options out in that district. You have Shire Range, you have Cosgray, those roads need improved. But we need to figure out what all of the thoroughfare plan alignments are going to be before we implement any improvements on existing roadways. We also want to make sure that we're optimizing the land out in that area because that's really the developable land that remains in Dublin. So there isn't too much developable land left, and we want to make sure that we maximize the opportunities that are associated with that land. So that's all about West Innovation District. Now I was going to provide an update on the next goal, which is to revitalize the Metro Center. This is something that we've been talking about for several years. We continue to advance planning efforts associated with revitalizing Metro Center. The goal for this is to strengthen the economic competitiveness. We want to develop a distinct node in the city. We have Bridge Park. We have the OU campus, we have Metro Center, but Metro Center has seen better days. It was hot in the 80s. It was the place to be, and it just needs some revitalizing and some improvements. So we want to determine what those improvements are and how we don't want to replicate Bridge Park. We want it to be its own unique, special place that has its own character. And then through all of the community engagement, through all the discussions with council, we thought that one way we could do that is to focus on sustainability in that development. So this is an aerial view of Metro Center. Metro Center is about 210 acres, so there's lots of opportunity. Metro Center is bounded by France, and then it's adjacent to the Blazer area, which we would like to connect Metro and Blazer. Right now, they're two essentially isolated business parks, and you have to go back out onto France to get to the other one, and it's just not very convenient. It doesn't really promote vibrancy in that area. The other thing that's unique about this that really provides a lot of opportunity and is just different these days, the way you look at parking. So there's 94 acres of parking lots in Metro Center. That's a lot of parking, and that equates to 7,500 parking spots. So if you drive through that area, you can see that there's not 7,500 cars parking in those parking spots anymore. The lease rate is actually pretty good in that district, and it's actually improving, and it's largely because when we talk to businesses, they know what's coming and they're excited about the future of Metro Center. So that's good, but it makes it more difficult to redevelop because then those property owners are looking to make more of they need more money to relocate or impact their buildings. So this area is showing all of the water. So we have 14 acres of underused open space and outdated ponds. All of that land is controlled by the Metro Business Association, and it requires the approval. If you want to change it, touch it in any way, it requires the approval of those association members. And that's what we're working through now, because we really would like to make better use of all of that acreage and of the water. Right now, it's kind of pushed off to the side. It's outdated. It doesn't really serve a great purpose for stormwater. So we would like to integrate it more into the development, make it more of an amenity, make it, more beautiful and something that you can enjoy, and have it serve a better stormwater purpose. This area is showing the frontage area along France Road, which we've talked to all of the property owners in that area. They're excited about the future. They're essentially waiting kind of on standby until we have the vision, the guidelines, the code, and all of that in place. And then we anticipate that they'll proceed with redevelopment plans. So that's the area of Max and Irma's, which was demolished a couple years ago. We have graders, we have the bank. So there's been lots of discussions with those property owners, and that's where we would envision the initial catalytic redevelopment occurring. So this is what we've defined as the elements of success for Metro Center. We want to consolidate all of that parking area because that's just not making revenue for the city and it's just not being used. We want to create engaging and purposeful open spaces, and that's what we believe could make this a unique mixed use development, because over in Bridge Park, you have most of the open space across the street in Riverside Crossing Park, which is amazing in itself. But the vision for this area is to integrate more open space throughout the redeveloped area. We want to make sure that we're supporting all the existing office tenants, and we want to improve walkability and transportation options. And that goes towards providing connectivity with Blazer and other areas of the city. So this is the vision that we're all rallying around. You can see that the water is more integral to the development. You can see there's a cultural and retail destination incorporated within the development. There's a performance lawn. There's engaging and sustainable architecture. There's a mobility hub. So it really, the vision is very different from what you see out there today. And we're really excited to advance that. So as I mentioned, currently we're working with the property owners to transfer. What we want to do is have the city take over all of that association land where the ponds and the green spaces are, because then that gives us flexibility. We would be responsible for maintaining it. So most of the property owners are on board, others are hesitant, others are just hard to reach because they're in other states and not really engaged in what's going on here in Dublin. So that's another challenge, is there's just so many business or so many property owners in that district. So the next goal is to become the most connected community in the US. This goal was adopted by council several years ago. It was very focused and specific on fiber to every home. So we've had our partnership with Alta Fiber now for a couple of years. They started construction in early 2024. It was going to be a 3-year process. They're ahead of schedule, which is amazing. So they're planning to wrap up the residential accessibility or construction by the end of this year. Next year, they're still going to be working to collaborate. They have to collaborate with condo associations and apartment complexes. Those are just different animals, because oftentimes those developments have contracts with certain providers. So that's going to carry over into next year, but largely the initiative is going to wrap up this year. So we're going to have every address in the city of Dublin has access to the Alta Fiber high-speed broadband, which has been a long time coming, and that was very resident focused. That was council responding to resident requests to incent. We wanted to incent competition, and we wanted to make sure that everybody in Dublin has access to high-speed broadband. So last year, because the Fiber to the Home initiative was well on its way to being achieved, council decided to repurpose this goal or evolve this goal towards not just connectivity from a fiber perspective, but they added connectivity from a resident perspective. And we leveraged the community health needs assessment, which was performed a couple of years ago. We sent surveys to residents, we had public meetings, and we really wanted to assess the overall health of the Dublin community. This is something that counties do on a county-wide level, but we didn't think that that data was really helpful for the city of Dublin. And especially we're in 3 different counties, potentially 4 when we annex into Madison County land that we purchased. So we really wanted to do a focus study. We have 4 major hospital systems located in Dublin, and they were all very integral to the process. Out of the community health needs assessment came 4 focus areas. So the focus areas are community connections. There was surprising data that came from that indicates that a large portion of Dublin residents don't feel connected to their neighbors, and there's a sense of isolationism. So we really want to work to address that however we can. The next focus area is youth behavioral health. A lot of the survey results from the youth indicate that there's, and we all know this, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stuff going on now when you're a youth. So there's concerns there that we would like to help. In that area, healthcare navigation, a lot of folks indicated that it's difficult to figure out and navigate the healthcare system. We all know that that's the case. So we're doing some things to help in that area. And then transportation, we heard that it's difficult to get around if you don't have a car, and that there's a desire to have increased mobility within the city of Dublin. So there's 4 groups that are working on those 4 focus areas. These are the organizations that are partnering with the city on this effort. It's a very impressive group. Both of these screens. So look at that. We have all 4 health systems. We have lots of our large corporate residents. All of these partners designated representatives from their organization to serve on the steering committee for the initiative, which has been amazing. And a lot of those members have continued and are now working on those focus groups. So one of the products of the connectivity focus group is that September 18th through 28th is the Dublin Good Neighbor Week. So this is very timely, so I wanted to talk about this. So you can nominate a good neighbor. If you have a neighbor that's been a great neighbor, super helpful, encourages connections in the neighborhood, we have a platform that you can nominate that neighbor for the Good Neighbor Award. We have a community connections challenge, and then we have a donation drive. So there's bins available at all city buildings and at the Dublin Library where you can donate personal goods. Next goal is to reimagine and launch Dublin's community events program, and Kendall has been leading that effort, so I'm going to turn it over to Kendall.
Yeah, so with this goal, council really wanted to take a comprehensive look at our events. So not just the events that the city produces, but also external events, how we utilize our park space for events. And so we had some consultants come in and take a deep dive into the events that we run, looking at the financials, what makes the most sense. And then also looking at those external events on a cadence. So what months do we not have a lot of events? You may not know, but we have over 150 external events. So that's 5Ks, that's the Dublin Market, festivals. So there's a lot of events that occur at the city, and there's not really a comprehensive look at all of that. And so we wanted to take a deep dive into that, especially with Riverside Crossing Park coming online. That's definitely changing the event landscape. A lot of event organizers want to activate that park, and that's a goal of councils as well. So we wanted to take one large look at all of those events. And so the consultants really identified through surveys what's important to our residents, and it's building that community. And some of the outcomes of that is obviously tourism. We want folks from outside of the city to come and enjoy our events, but then it's also has brand identification for the city. We're known for our Irish festival, and as staff we own that, and we love that that is ours. And then from an economic development standpoint as well. So the consultants really helped us provide a roadmap. So it has recommendations that our events team is now carrying out, those recommendations, from looking at food truck policy to all different areas that we can improve our events, but also have a financial perspective as well, so that we are having a return on some of those as well. So these are just obviously all of the city signature events that we produce. So St. Patrick's Day Parade, Independence Day Celebration, Spectacular, Irish Festival, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and the community tree lighting ceremony as well. And one recommendation out of this, council wanted to activate Riverside Crossing Park. And when we went through the events roadmap project, realized that a lot of our community loved these summer fun series events. So I hope that you had a chance to participate, whether those a midweek music series or cinema Saturdays. We saw a lot of people enjoying it in a really passive way, but it activated the park and created a more lively atmosphere down in downtown Dublin. In a timely update, we have our Spectacular event coming back this October, so in a month. So I see one kiddo in the audience, so hopefully he'll have an opportunity to participate, wear his costume. But we're excited about this event. We have a lot of partners that participate in our trunk or treat line, so it's a really fun free event for our residents. And then another recommendation that we heard is really, we don't have any events in the winter time. And then we also see a dip in our tourism in our hotel cadence, I should say. Occupancy is the word I was looking for. Thank you. So through this effort, we realized that there's a traditional Christmas market that would bring a lot of tourism to the community, people from outside. It would activate Riverside Crossing Park. So that's where it would originally start. And we had a consultant come in and do a feasibility study for that. And there's an opportunity for it to expand to other areas in the city. So we're really looking forward to that, hopefully starting next Christmas time. So 2026, we're currently in negotiations with an operator, figuring out those terms. So hopefully we will have that next Christmas time.
Okay, and then I'm going to wrap up with some updates on our capital improvements program. Our current 5-year capital improvements program is about $325 million. There's lots of projects in there. You can see how that's broken out. About half of our capital improvement program is focused on streets, shared use paths, our transportation infrastructure. About a quarter goes towards parks improvements, and then we have technology, utilities, fleet facilities, and other, which continue to help serve the community. About a third of that, I always like to highlight this fact because a third of our CIP goes towards maintenance, which is key. Not every community can say that. It's easy and it's fun to program the new cool shiny pennies. That's always something that we want to do and always something that we want to identify funding for. But Dublin has been very intentional and diligent about funding maintenance. And you can tell when you cross our corporation limits, you can tell the difference. And that's because we dedicate so much of our capital funding towards maintenance. So I always just want to highlight that because a lot of that money isn't all that visible until you cross the boundaries. So a lot of that funding goes towards street maintenance, sidewalk maintenance, those types of projects. One project that is wrapping up is we've been working over the years to add path connections along Riverside Drive to help connectivity on the east side of the river. So we have another connection under construction on the west side of Riverside Drive from Emerald Parkway, and this section will end at the Arts Council. Ultimately, we'd like to continue north on that side, especially to Scioto Park. There's just complexities in getting there right now, but we will at some point. So we're focusing on this section, and it's kind of cool that this past week, the pedestrian bridge was installed, and it was a 130-foot pedestrian bridge, which is our second longest pedestrian bridge, and it's only to the big pedestrian bridge, the Dublin Link. So it was cool to watch that get set, and that was pretty much the last activity that needed to occur to wrap up that construction. So if any of you have been impacted by the traffic impacts on Riverside Drive, Julie, are you complaining about that? It's progress. I'm kidding. It's progress. We view that as progress. Anyways, apologize for that. It was necessary to get that connection done, but you'll be seeing improvements in that area from a traffic perspective very, very soon. Another area that you've probably experienced traffic impacts is out west at the Post Road interchange. Good news there. Okay. Good news there is that that entire area is now being resurfaced, which means the end is in sight. So lots of resurfacing occurring, which brings traffic impacts, but it'll look beautiful once that's complete. And if there's one thing that I've heard as that project's been wrapping up this year is that everybody thinks it's beautiful. I mean, the landscaping's amazing, the bridge detailing, if you look at all that stonework, I think it's a really amazing gateway to our city. And that was in partnership with ODOT. They've been managing that project, but the city contributed significant funds to that project to accelerate bringing that improvement to Dublin. So substantial completion will occur very soon this year. There'll be some this drought's not great for all that landscaping. So you can see some brown trees and brown landscaping. That's all under warranty. That'll all need to be remedied, and you'll see some of that into next year too, but that's just what we need to wrap up that project. So that's exciting. Another exciting improvement is the DCRC refresh. So we've started making some improvements to areas within the rec center. That's going to be a multi-phase improvements. We didn't want to shut down the whole thing and do this massive improvement and impact everybody all at once. So we're going to focus on specific areas over the next few years, and gradually you'll see all of the areas brought up to date and significant improvement. So the first two areas that we focused on were it was formerly referred to as the senior center. We're rebranding that, and it's now called the lounge. It's open to all adults over 18. So that's something that we heard, is that we wanted an area where folks can just connect and hang out. And that's very aligned with the community health needs assessment, just providing that area where folks can meet other folks and hang out at the rec center. So that area is open. The hub is what was referred to as the teen center. So now we have a cool name called the hub. The finishes and all that are amazing. I think teens are going to love it. It's a very cool area for teens to hang out. That's another thing that we heard, is that where do teens hang out in Dublin so that they don't get in trouble? This will definitely be a cool area. There's going to be lots of technology. There's esports, big TVs. It'll be a really cool area. So we hope that that'll help provide another area for folks, for youth to hang out. And that'll be open in the next few weeks. And then we're going to plan a grand opening celebration to invite the community to come see both of those spaces. Then we have the Rec Center app. Hopefully you're all familiar with that. It provides all kinds of services for the Rec Center. It's received national awards. You can use it to scan in. You can see your account. You can sign up for everything through that app. It's really great. So if you haven't downloaded that app, I would encourage you to do so. Similarly, we have the Go Dublin texts. So if you are interested in receiving text updates, I love it because it reminds me of things. I'll get a text saying, here's what all is happening in the next week. And you can pick and choose what kind of text you get when you sign up. So if you want to participate, you can text hello to those numbers, 888-50-GO-DUB. Once you text that number, it'll ask you to verify your phone number, and then it'll ask you which categories you're interested in receiving text updates. So that's really cool. And my final slide, Peter, are you impressed? Very timely here, very timely. So each month I publish a city manager report. It's a lot of work for all the staff throughout the city. Every division provides updates on everything that is underway in their particular area. So it's about 20 pages, but it's all about providing updates to everybody. It's all about transparency. So we publish this, I provide it to city council, very timely updates, and then we put it out on all the social media and on the website. And we actually see a lot of other communities kind of following that to see what's going on and how we're doing things here in Dublin. So I would encourage you to use that QR code, and that'll take you to the city manager report. And that is all I had. Peter's very happy with my time. I did better this. Okay. Well, thank you all for having us. I don't think I'm coming back in 2 weeks. I mean, I'm happy to.
I mean, you know, we'll make it a tradition here, but any questions?
Again, I'll just put a plug in.
Uh-huh.
You have a number of Citizen University people here in this room.
Excellent.
That is probably the best thing that I've done in terms of connectedness with the city and most of the neighbors. So
Amazing.
any future, we're doing that, once a year now?
Yes,
Can we
yes.
offer that more often?
Ooh, it's a very time consuming effort, and just getting folks. I appreciate your participation, everybody that participated in that. I know that those that go through the process really enjoy it. Staff really enjoy it because they love being able to show and tell what they do. I mean, I could talk to Christine, but it's a long process, and even just getting folks lined up to participate. We also have a Citizen Youth Jumpstart process, which is for the youth. So there's other programs throughout the year that kind of leverage and tag on to that program. So I would anticipate it'll be once a year.
And we have your slide about the FOMO no-go.
FOMO no-go, yeah.
Here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I visit Dublin, and we've got Dublin Rec, but I don't know if everyone knows about that other texting.
Okay. Yeah, it's relatively new, so it's just a few months old. But folks really are picking up on it, and it's great. And Peter, you have the PDF of these slides, so
Yes,
you can
yep,
share
I
them.
can circulate those.
Excellent.
Yeah. What's the status on the bridge south of Sawmill?
that goes over 270?
South, oh, the future bridge that,
Yeah.
or west of Sawmill across
Yeah.
270.
Yeah.
So we're working through design, so we have the alignment determined. We acquired for $11 million a couple years ago, the Cloverleaf Hotel, that's been demolished. Now we're working through design, which is gonna take a couple years, and we're also working on a funding package, so a couple years ago, we thought we had a few $1,000,000 in discretionary funds from the federal government. That kind of got tied up in all the budgets. Yeah, so that kind of fell through. So I understand that they're going to be opening up applications again early next year. We're also continuing to apply through MORPC to get some funding through MORPC. It's about a $30-some million bridge. So we need some assistance from others to help fund that. Yes.
Megan, the funding thing, is there any bond funding associated with that?
With the bridge, there likely will be.
Those municipal bond type opportunities?
There likely will be when it comes time to close that package, we will probably use debt for that. But it's several years away, I would imagine. Yes. Lots of questions. Who wants to go next? You wanna go?
Well, I don't need to remind you, those of us who live across the street from this big project in Waterford Village are nervous.
Metro Center, yeah.
And how do you envision what's gonna happen in the next 25 years to those of us who live over there?
So as part of the Metro Center revitalization,
Yeah.
yeah, so we've had lots of engagement with the neighboring neighborhoods, and we understand what the concerns are. There's traffic studies underway that'll determine, what traffic impacts might be and how we can best mitigate those impacts. But we believe, and what we're hearing a lot of, is that there's significant concern right now with the trajectory of Metro Center and what the future could be if it's not revitalized, because it's never good to have, abandoned properties or underutilized properties. It's always good to have, more vibrancy and better economic impact coming from those areas. But if you have any specific concerns, I'm happy to meet with any group from any of the neighboring jurisdictions or neighboring neighborhoods. I know our planning staff has had ongoing engagements with the neighborhood leadership, and that there have been a few community meetings, but we're happy to continue those conversations. Yes.
I just wanted to let Mrs. Blake know that she's welcome back.
Yes.
It's a great word.
I just had a question. What's the most revenue that the city operates on?
So currently our operating budget's about 115 million. Yeah, so it's the fourth year that we're over 100 million.
Is that primarily from payroll tax?
Primarily from income tax, yeah, that's what certainly fuels the city, yeah. So, yeah, largely it's income tax, and then property tax is just about 2%, 3% of what the city gets. Most of the property tax goes to the school system. Yes.
If we want to get more payroll tax in Southwest Innovation District, who should we be talking to about obtaining space there or renting space there? Where is that gonna probably get connected?
So our economic development team is all over that. They're talking to lots of, developers that are interested in identifying the appropriate land. It really depends on zoning, and that's what our economic development team does, is they try to match companies with land and buildings that suit their needs.
Last question from Deb.
Old nationwide building. Metro.
Which building are we talking about?
Old nationwide, it's on the France.
Rings in France? Yeah, so.
Bradenton. It's across from Cornfield.
Yes, so that's currently a Cardinal Health building. They have vacated that building, but they have at least, I think, until 2030. But they're actively looking for a tenant for that building, and so are we. We would love to get that built. I mean, it's a ginormous building, and certainly it's a priority for us to try to find a tenant as well. We just haven't found that perfect tenant yet.
All right, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Thanks for helping out. Oh, it's just a button.
Well, it's an exciting time to be living in Dublin, and Megan, that's a credit to you and your team. And Kendall, thank you so much for joining us today. You're a winner in my book, so we're never going to let Dave live that one down. But so our next meeting is going to be off-site at 1 Dublin. So do not show up here because nobody will be here. Gene is going to be leading that meeting because I am going to be in Seattle cheering on our Buckeyes as they take on Washington. So our quote of the day comes from Alan Turing. We can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty there that needs to be done. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yes. Oh. I'm not used to this. Thank you so much. Kevin, great job. So. Good way to go into the weekend.
Break around like 6 months. It's like, what did I do?
She did a
And
spectacular
then I'm
job.
like, okay, who wants to come with me? Because they don't want to hear me for the entire time.
Thank you so much for sharing everything.
All right.
But it's fun. There's lots to share. Thank you. Fun.
One city update on
Dean, thank you.
Monterey and 161 there as to what's gonna go in there.
Doing this.
Anything recently.
Okay.
Been a few months. I mean, there was that same did you see the last con?
Yeah, well, we got 2 of them, so there's another one. Should work, but it just needs, they need batteries. I tested it, the laser pointer works on it, but apparently just because it can generate a laser doesn't mean that it can help.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
We haven't had that meeting, but I'm glad you asked. Because I think they're supposed to be a meeting.
Okay.
They still want to do it. I think most folks liked it.
Any big plans this weekend?
Yeah. I heard,
Not really.
the cemetery.
No.
got-
Nothing fun.
Officially surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
Did everything in the president. Peter told me I had to stop it.
I'm sorry?
Right.
So I'm leaving Thursday morning, and then I'll be back on Sunday. So it's a quick trip, but I got 3 good friends. We go on these